So, good morning again, students. So, for today, our topic would be about conditional tenses or conditional tenses. So, when we say about conditional tenses, these are used to speculate about what could happen, what might have happened, and what we wish would happen. And in English, most sentences using the conditional contain the word if. In all cases, these sentences are made up of an if clause and a main clause. And the term tenses is to indicate the time when an action or event occurs or when a state or process holds. So many conditional forms in English are used in sentences that include verbs. In one of the past tenses, this usage is referred to as the unreal past, because we use a past tense but we are not actually referring to something that happened in the past. And there are 5 main ways of constructing conditional sentences in English. In all cases, these sentences are made up of an if clause and main clause. In many negative conditional sentences, there is an equivalent sentence or construction using unless instead of if. So we have here the example table below, the zero conditional. But first, let us find out what is the meaning of a clause and their conditionals. A clause. What is if clause? Conditional sentences are also known as conditional clauses or if clauses. They are used to express that the action in the main clause without if can only take place if a certain condition in the clause with if is fulfilled. Conditional sentences are sentences that expresses one thing contingent on something else. Example, if it rains, the picnic will be cancelled. And they are so called because the impact of the main clause of the sentence is conditional on the dependent clause. So let us decipher what is a main clause. A main clause is a clause that contains a subject and an object. And what are the difference between clause and a condition? As nouns, the difference between clause and condition is that clause is, in grammar or informal, is a group of 2 or more words which include a subject and any necessary predicate. The predicate also includes a verb or a conjunction or a preposition to begin the clause. However, this clause is not considered as a sentence for colloquial purposes, while condition is a logical clause or phrase that a conditional statement uses. The phrase can either be true or false. As verbs, the difference between clause and condition is that clause is shipping or to amend a bill of lading or a similar document, while condition is to subject to the process of acclimation. Okay, now we have deciphered what is the meaning of the main clause and their difference between two. Let us now proceed about the zero conditional. So the zero conditional. And zero conditional is when the situation was if these things happen, that thing happens, that the thing happens type. So what is a zero conditional? Is used for when the time being referred is to now or always and the situation is real and possible. The zero conditional is often used to refer to general truths. The tense in both parts of the sentence is the simple present. In zero conditional sentences, the word if can usually be replaced by the word when without changing the meaning. We use the zero conditional when we want to talk about facts or things that are generally true. Scientific facts are often covered by the zero conditional. And for example, when you heat ice, it melts. The zero conditional uses if or when and must be followed by a simple present or imperative. So on the first, the type 1 conditional, the situation would be if these things happen, the thing will happen. So to further clear that, the type 1 conditional is used to refer to the present or future where the situation is real. The type 1 conditional refers to a possible condition and its probable results. In these sentences, the if clause in the simple present and the main clause is in the simple future. As in all conditional sentences, the order of the clauses is not fixed. You may have to rearrange the pronouns and adjust punctuation when you change the order of the clauses, but the meaning is identical. The type 1 conditional refers to a possible condition and its probable result. These sentences are based on facts and they are used to make statements about the real world and about particular situations. We often use such sentences to give warnings. And in type 1 conditional sentences, the time is the present or future and the situation is real. So we have here the example, if you don't hurry, you will miss the train. That is an example of a real situation. And the other example, if it rains today, you will get wet. And that is another real situation. By using the word, the tense simple present, and using the conditional if. And in type 1 conditional sentences, you can also use modals in the main clause instead of the future tense to express the degree of certainty, permission, or a recommendation about the outcome. In type 2, conditional is used to refer to a time that is now or any time, and a situation that is unreal. These sentences are not based on a fact. The type 2 conditional is used to refer to a hypothetical condition and its probable results. In type 2 conditional sentences, the if clause uses the simple past and the main clause uses the present conditional. And the situation would be if this thing happened, that thing would happen. But imagine this thought, but I'm not sure this thing will happen or that thing would be happening. So continuing to its form, in a type 2 conditional sentence, the tense in the if clause is in the simple past, and the tense in the main clause is the present conditional or the present continuous conditional. So as you can see there, the example, if you went to bed earlier, you would not be so tired. And another example, if I spoke Italian, I would be working in Italy. So further highlighting about present continuous conditional, tense of any verb is composed of the three elements, the would plus be plus present participle. The present participle is formed by taking the base form of the verb and adding the ing ending or in the end of the word. As in all conditional sentences, the order of the clauses is not fixed. You may have to rearrange the pronouns and adjust punctuation when you change the order of the clauses, but the meaning is identical. So on the function, the type 2 conditional refers to an unlikely or a hypothetical condition and its probable result. These sentences are not based on the actual situation. In type 2 conditional sentences, the time is now or any time and the situation is hypothetical. So in type 3 conditional, it is used to speculate about situations that happened or did not happen in the past. So the type 3 conditional is used to refer to a time that it is in the past and a situation that is contrary to reality. The facts they are based on are the opposite of what is expressed. The type 3 conditional is used to refer to an unreal past condition. and it is probable past result. In type 3 conditional sentences, the if clause uses the past perfect and the main clause uses the perfect conditional. The situation will be, if this thing had happened, the thing would have happened. Or, but neither of those things really happened. Or other example is, the thing would have been happening. In a type 3 conditional sentence, the tense in the if clause is the past perfect, and the tense in the main clause is the perfect conditional or the perfect continuous conditional. And the function of type 3 conditional is, it refers to an impossible condition in the past and its probable result in the past. These sentences are truly hypothetical and unreal because it is now too late for condition or its result to exist. There is always some implication of regret with type 3 conditional sentences. The reality is the opposite of contrary to what the sentence expresses. In the type 3 conditional sentences, the time is the past and the situation is hypothetical. For example, if I had worked harder, I would have passed the exam. But I didn't work hard and I didn't pass the exam. The type 3 conditional sentences, you can also use modals in the main clause instead of would, the word would, to express the degree of certainty, permission, or a recommendation about the outcome. Examples, or in an example, if I had worked harder, I might have passed the exam. Another last type conditional is wherein the mixed type conditional. The situation would be, if this thing had happened, the thing would happen. Or, but this thing didn't happen, so that this thing isn't happening. Okay. Mixed type conditional is used to refer to a time that is in the past and a situation that is ongoing into the present. The facts they are based on are the opposite of what is expressed. The mixed type conditional is used to refer to an unreal past condition and its probable result in the present. In mixed type conditional sentences, the if clause uses the past perfect and the main clause uses the present conditional. Mixed conditional, it is possible for the two parts of a conditional sentence to refer to different times, and the resulting sentences is a mixed conditional sentence. There are two types of mixed conditional sentences. And further focusing on the present result of a past condition, the form is, this type of mixed conditional sentence, the sentence that in the sentence, the tense in the if clause is the past perfect and the tense in the main clause is the present conditional. As in all conditional sentences, the order of the clauses is not fixed. You may have to rearrange the pronouns and just punctuation when you change the order of the clauses, but the meaning is identical. And its function, the function of the mixed conditional refers to an unreal past condition and its probable result in the present. This sentence expresses a situation which, contrary to reality, both in the past and in the present. In these mixed conditional sentences, the time is the past in the if clause and in the present in the main clause. In these mixed conditional sentences, you can also use modals in the main clause instead of would to express the degree of certainty, permission, or a recommendation about the outcome and the past result of present or continuing condition, its form is in the second type of mixed conditional sentence. The tense in the if clause is the simple past, and the tense in the main clause is in the perfect conditional. As in all conditional sentences, the order of the clauses is not fixed. You may have to arrange the pronouns and just punctuation when you change the order of the clauses, but the meaning is identical. The function with these mixed conditional sentences refer to an unreal present situation and its probable but unreal past result. In these mixed conditional sentences, the time in the clause is now or always, and the time in the main clause is before now. For example, if I wasn't afraid of spiders is contrary to present reality. I am afraid of spiders. I would have picked it up is contrary to the present to the past reality. I didn't pick it up. So I hope you understood the lesson. If you have any questions or clarifications, you can email me through Messenger, or you can email Ma'am Shea too for further clarifications. I hope this helps on your activity, and this ends our slide. And thank you for listening.